It was midnight. In the wide, pitch-black living room, a flickering glow kept pulsing on and off. A woman curled up on the couch, flipping through TV channels with the remote. Her eyes were vacant, unfocused in nothing and nowhere. Suddenly, her phone on the table lit up and rang. She snatched it quickly. It wasn't him, just a WeChat video call from her friend, Julia Morgan. She answered. First came deafening music, then Julia's drunk, blown-up face filled the whole screen. Julia yelled at the screen, "Isabel, guess who I just ran into at Purple Night?" Isabel frowned slightly and turned down the volume a few notches. "Julia, how much did you drink?" Julia's camera wobbled wildly. Then it landed on a woman in the crowd. Amid the flashing lights and chaotic noise, Isabel Lopez still recognized that delicate, damsel-in-distress face. Latina Mera was back. "Isabel, am I seeing this right? Isn't that your husband's long-lost crush, Latina? When did she get back? Looks like she's drinking alone." Julia slurred into the phone. "Wait, why is your husband here too?" Then a man appeared on screen. Even through the screen, under the dim red and green lights, Isabel instantly recognized that tall, sharp profile. As soon as he showed up, the woman melted right into his arms. Julia gasped at the screen. No freaking way. Did Latina miss the memo these past few years? Luke's married now, girl. Julia shouted, fuming. "Isabel, sit tight. I'm coming over to rip her fake lashes off." "Forget it," Isabel began, but the video call had already ended. Silence returned to the living room. Isabel sat with her phone for a moment, then flipped through a few more channels. Nothing felt right. She shut the TV off and headed upstairs. Luke Dawson wasn't coming home tonight. Just as Isabel reached the bedroom, her phone rang again. The number flashed a string she could recognize in her sleep. The name Luke glowed on the screen. She answered and softly spoke his name into the phone. "Luke." His voice came through cool and low. "You're still up?" In the background, a woman's muffled sobs could be heard. Isabel kept her voice steady. "Yeah, are you coming back?" He was probably smoking. She heard a faint exhale of smoke. Then he said casually, "I just ran into Julia at Purple Night. She slapped Latina, said it was for you." His tone was gentlemanly and too calm. He exhaled again. "She was drunk tonight, so I'll let it go. But tomorrow, remind her to apologize to Latina. You know how I handle things." "I'm only asking because she's your friend. One apology, Isabel. Or I step in and then it won't just be an apology." His voice didn't rise, but it was cold enough to send chills. Isabel went quiet. He waited patiently. Look, can I just apologize to her for Julia?" She knew exactly what stepping in meant with him. Then the other woman's soft sobs broke the pause. "Isabel, you didn't slap me. Why would you need to apologize?" Isabel's brows tightened. She'd known they were together. What she didn't know was that Luke had Latina listening in on their call. Her voice grew bitter as she pulled a strained smile. "Latina's listening to this call, isn't she?" On the other end, Luke handed the phone over. Latina's voice came through sweet, fake, and just a little sad. "Isabel, I'm here with Luke. He didn't put it on speaker. The room's just really quiet, so I heard you talking. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop." In the same room, Isabel let out a bitter laugh. "It's fine, Latina. Just put me on speaker." Latina tapped the speaker button. "Go ahead, Isabel." Isabel's voice was cool and flat. "Latina, Luke said my friend hit you tonight. I'm officially apologizing on her behalf. I'm sorry, Latina." Just a simple apology, but it crushed her pride. Latina listened, pretending to struggle with emotion. Then she turned to Luke with a pitiful tone. "Luke, don't make Isabel apologize. She didn't tell her to hit me. It already happened, and it's just an apology. I don't mind. Don't make a big deal out of it." Then came the soft, delicate sobbing. Luke murmured to her, "Latina, I told you I'd never let you get hurt." Luke picked up the phone again. His voice turned razor sharp. "Isabel, I gave you your chance." Isabel smiled, her heart sinking. She admitted it, she was jealous of Latina. That helpless, innocent look, paired with her sugary voice, could win Luke's unconditional affection, with no effort. No matter what Isabel did, Luke couldn't see her. Still, she held her ground. "Luke, You heard me. I already apologized. He wanted to protect his girl. She wanted to protect her friend. On the other end, Latina kept crying softly. Luke, I'm not upset. Julia's Isabel's friend too. Don't fight with Isabel over me. Don't make things hard for her. Over the phone, Latina was asking Isabel's husband to go easy on her. Isabel hung up. That was enough emotional whiplash. She lay in bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. The frustration boiling inside her had nowhere to go. She buried her entire head into the pillow. It smothered her ears, nose, and mouth until she couldn't breathe. Her brain went blank. She flipped over, gasping for air, still blank. As her breath slowly evened out, her mind drifted to when she was 15, summer, North Bay, in the northern part of the city. Isabel had gone on vacation with her parents. They'd been fighting nonstop back then. At 15, she already understood enough to feel their marriage cracking. Because of her, 2 career-obsessed adults had decided to take time off and go on a tripus, a last-ditch effort. Maybe, just maybe, they'd fix their bond through her. That day, sun, sand, and a lazy afternoon, Isabel had gone swimming. She'd only been in the water a few minutes when she spotted her parents yelling again on the beach. They said this was a family vacation, but all they did was fight in front of her. On the first night, Isabel woke up to her mom banging on the hotel room door in rage. After that, Mom didn't even sleep in the same room with Dad. She heard all the ugly words. Her dad insulted her mom, saying she had no femininity, just work, work, work. Then Mom fired back, calling him useless and worse, a cheater. Isabel watched them argue louder and louder. The sun stung her eyes. She shut them tight, didn't want to see. She dove into the water and just kept swimming. She really did swim far, far enough that when she opened her eyes again, they were gone. Waves crashed against her chest. She looked up. She had crossed the safe zone. She knew how to swim, but now, with no people in sight, panic took over. Her limbs froze. She cried out weakly, "Dad! Mom!" No one answered. She forgot how to move. Arms flailed wildly. She swallowed mouthfuls of salty, water-filthy water, used by God knows how many people. Her strength faded. Her body forgot how to swim. She gasped, choked, and gulped more water. No one noticed. The gray water surrounded her, ready to swallow her whole. In that moment of despair, just before she blacked out, she saw a boy swimming toward her. He reached out. "Don't be scared. Just hold on to me. I'll take you back." He gripped her hand tight. She clung to him like a lifeline. He nodded at her with a reassuring smile, telling her to trust him. He swam back with everything he had, until they reached the shore. A crowd gathered around. That was when her parents finally realized she had nearly drowned. Emily Carter pulled her into a tight, tearful hug. Tony Lopez looked at the boy sitting nearby, still catching his breath, and said gratefully, "Thank you for saving my daughter. Mind telling us your name? We owe you." The boy gave a faint glance at the girl in her mother's arms, still panting slightly. "Don't sneak off to dangerous places when you're upset. It's not safe." He didn't just save her life, he saw through her sadness, and he never told her his name. He just got up and left. But Isabel never forgot that face. South City to North City, it was a 2-hour flight apart. Since then, Isabel lived in South City, always looking north. That summer didn't save her parents' marriage. By the time Isabel turned 17, Tony and Emily were divorced. Ambitious and restless, Emily didn't want to stay in South City and face Tony. She expanded the family business to North City and brought Isabel with her. When Isabel turned 18, Emily was already thriving in North City. She threw a grand party under the guise of celebrating Isabel's birthday when really, it was to get her on the matchmaking list of high society families. That night, Isabel met Luke again, 21 years old now. She recognized him instantly as the boy who once pulled her from the water. That's when she found out Luke was the only heir of the powerful Dawson family in North City. Orphaned young, raised by his grandfather, he had taken over the Dawson empire by 21. Even Emily couldn't stop praising him. Unfortunately, Luke had long forgotten her. Even Emily didn't remember. It was fair Luke didn't either. Everyone at the party was there for the same purpose-strategic marriage. At 20, when Isabel set her sights on Luke, Emily pulled every string she had, and she got what she wanted. Isabel married Luke. The sound of the door lock snapped her out of the memory. Isabel turned to look. The man by the door flipped on the lights and walked straight to the bed. Luke's hair was always trimmed short. Dressed in all black, he looked tall and sharp, but his face was cold. His eyes narrowed slightly. A faint smirk lifted the corners of his mouth, colder than snow, sharp as frost. He let out a mocking laugh. "Can't sleep either, Isabel." Isabel turned her gaze away, awkwardly avoiding his eyes. "Luke, want to shower first?" Even with half a bed between them, she could still catch the scent on Jaime perfume that wasn't his. She knew exactly where he'd been. The disgust in her heart was hard to swallow. Luke stared at her with cool, dark eyes. He hated how calm and detached she always acted. He pulled out a cigarette and walked to the floor-to-ceiling window. Sitting by the glass table, he crossed his legs and lit up. Isabel sat up too, hugged her knees, and started mindlessly scrolling through her phone. Luke exhaled a puff of smoke. His fingers tapped the glass tabletop slowly, rhythmically. In the dead silence, every tap made her more anxious. Finally, he spoke. "Isabel." His voice was still as cold as ice. She looked up. "Yeah?" "Julia said she slapped Latina for you." Isabel put down her phone and stared at him calmly. Her heart was in knots. "Luke, it's not even morning yet. Couldn't he bear to let his precious Latina go one night without playing the victim?" Luke took another drag, exhaled slowly. His brow arched, and his cold gaze sliced toward her. "Latina spent 3 years abroad. She's been through a lot. First day back, and Julia just decides to humiliate her out of nowhere. Latina's too kind. She'll accept your apology. But I won't," Luke said, voice low and expression as cold as steel. "If you didn't tell Julia to do it, then what are you apologizing for?" His voice was deep, his face unreadable and ruthless. Isabel asked, "So what now?" Luke clenched his jaw. "Simple. Julia has to apologize to Latina. She's your friend, you know what she's like. If you let this slide, she'll cross the line again." Isabel nodded. "I told her to do it." Luke's eyes darkened. He tapped the ash from his cigarette, his tone cutting cold. "Latina spent 3 lonely, brutal years overseas, and the moment she comes home, this is how you welcome her." Isabel gave a bitter smile. "Yeah, I told her. I already said sorry." "That's enough. Don't take it out on Julia." After speaking, she didn't look at him again, just picked up her phone and scrolled. The second she looked down, Luke stormed over. His hand clamped harshly around her jaw, forcing her to look at him. His face was full of scorn and disdain. "So it really was you. Isabel, don't think I don't know who sent Latina away back then." Staring into that cold face, Isabel hesitated. Then she laughed. "Yes, I sent her abroad." She paused. "You know what? I gave her 50 million. She didn't even haggle, just nodded and left." Her tone was calm, but the sarcasm dripped. "That's what you were worth to her, 50 million. But to me, I would have given up everything just to keep her away from you." Luke gave her a cold, mocking stare. In his eyes, Isabel was just a manipulative woman who'd used every dirty trick to get close to him, who knew if anything she said was true. He sneered. "Wow, so in love with me, huh?" Isabel saw nothing but mockery in his eyes. Her eyes burned. She turned away, not wanting to meet that gazite hurt too much. But just as she turned her head, Luke yanked her back. Then his lips crashed down, rough, angry, punishing, cruel. Isabel pushed hard against him, bit down until blood filled her mouth. That was when Luke finally let go. He sneered, voice laced with contempt. "What are you pretending for? It's not like we haven't slept together. You used the dirtiest tricks to get into my bed, and now you act ashamed?" Isabel held back tears, unable to speak. Back then, the only reason she married Luke was because of her mother and that drugged glass of wine. Emily Carter had tampered with the drink. She never even told Isabel. When she woke up, her only leverage was Grandpa Dawson. Without that, Luke, already in full control, would have crushed Emily's schemes in seconds. That's why he hated her so deeply. That's why he despised her. Isabel couldn't defend herself. She turned away, her voice light. "I thought you weren't coming home tonight. What, you leave your delicate little darling behind just to pick a fight with me?" She glanced at him. "Luke, don't forget I'm a germaphobe. I kicked Latina out back then because I couldn't stand her touching you." Her obsession with cleanliness began after swallowing all that filthy seawater. Luke's face darkened. Germaphobe? He laughed coldly, then leaned down and pinned her under him. "Well, too bad. Tonight, I'm touching you anyway." Isabel clutched his shirt. Her voice was flat. "What? Latina couldn't satisfy you?" That line sent Luke into a rage. "What do you care? As long as I'm satisfied." He bent down and silenced her with a forceful kiss, rough and relentless until she stopped struggling, until he tasted the salt at the corner of her eye. 3 years of marriage. Isabel had always been graceful at home, sharp and capable at work. He had never seen her cry. Luke rolled away in frustration, turning to the other side of the bed. His voice came low and cold. "Compared to Latina, you really are boring." He knew exactly how to hit where it hurt. Her tears poured out like a faucet turned on full. Isabel had never been in love before. She only knew how to give everything she had to one person, even if he never loved her back. And now, finally, she understood. A forced relationship wasn't just tasteless, it was bitter as hell. The next morning, when Luke woke up, the space beside him was already empty. Neither of them needed alarms. His internal clock woke him at 7 every day. Isabel's even earlier, at 6. When Luke came downstairs after washing up, Isabel was already sitting at the dining table. She wore a red camisole dress under a crisp white blazer. Her skin was pale, almost sickly white, and the red dress against the white blazer made her glow like porcelain. Isabel was quietly eating her breakfast, head down. She only looked up when Luke sat at the table. "Good morning," she said softly. That's when Luke noticed even with makeup, her eyes were still swollen. Her lips were red and a bit swollen too, from his biting. Luke quickly looked away, glancing at the table. Today's breakfast was more elaborate than usual's wheat potato oatmeal, pan-fried dumplings, pancakes, fried eggs, pasta, steak, and even 2 side dishes. Normally, porridge came with pickles, steak came with milk, and most days it was just a sandwich and some coffee. The fried stuff, she only made that once in a while. Since marrying into the Dawson family, they'd never hired a maid. For the past 3 years, unless Isabel was on a business trip, she cooked everything herself. She even tended the garden. The only help was a part-time cleaner who came while they were both at work. Today's breakfast must have taken a lot of time to prepare. Isabel clearly hadn't slept much. Luke had barely taken 2 bites of porridge when his phone rang. It was Latina. He didn't hide it. He answered directly and held the phone to his ear, his voice warm. "Latina." Isabel's hand, reaching for the milk, paused. That was the first thing he said that morning. Of course it had to be this. Whatever was said on the other end, Luke responded, "No need to bring anything. I'm having breakfast. I'll come see you after work." He hung up, and when he saw Isabel frozen mid-reach for the milk, he smirked. "What's wrong, Isabel? Not happy?" Isabel looked up, calm as ever. "Luke, is this really necessary?" Luke raised an eyebrow and asked deliberately. "Necessary how?" Isabel pulled her hand back. "She didn't touch the milk, didn't pick up her fork again." Her voice stayed gentle. "Luke, the whole city knows we're married. You being this blatant, it's not good for Latina's reputation. And it'll be hard to explain to Grandpa if he hears about it." Luke set his utensils down, his lips curling in a cold smile. "Don't bring Grandpa into this. Everyone knew it was you who insisted on marrying me. What, didn't think this day would come? You wanted the title of Mrs. Dawson, I gave it to you. I don't care. But if you want my heart," he scoffed, lips twisting, "come back in the next life." With that, he got up and walked away. If Isabel remembered right, he only had 2 spoonfuls of porridge. She'd started preparing at 5:30. Everyone who had tasted her cooking had praised it. But Luke? He always just took a few casual bites. Isabel looked at the untouched spread on the table. Such a waste. Some dishes hadn't even been touched. She got up and left the table too. She never joined the Dawson group. After they married, Luke wanted her to be a full-time housewife because he didn't trust her intentions. So she continued working at Emily Carter's company. Near noon, Emily walked into her office. "Isabel, help me entertain a partner over lunch. He's in from South City." Isabel rarely did business lunches only for big deals. She wasn't in the mood. "Mom, can I send someone from PR instead?" Emily smiled. "It's just a meal. You still have to eat, don't you? And this client, you know him." She added a teasing look, but didn't say who it was. Isabel nodded. "Did you book a restaurant?" Emily replied, "Yeah, Huayang Bistro. Just head over. He should be arriving soon." The drive from their office to Huayang took about 10 minutes. Isabel didn't eat out much. It wasn't until she arrived that she noticed it was right near Luke's company. At the restaurant, she gave Emily's name to the host, and a server led her to a window-side table. From a distance, Isabel saw the man already seated. He stood up as she approached and gave her a gentle smile. Isabel smiled too and walked over, surprised. "Jason? It's really you?" Jason Smith pulled out a chair for her like a gentleman. "Isabel, it's been a while." The gloom Isabel had carried all day finally lifted, and her voice softened. "My mom didn't tell me it was you." Jason smirked. "I told Auntie not to." Isabel pouted. "When did you get back to the country?" "Last year." Isabel nodded. "Oh, and when are you heading back to South City?" Jason said. "This afternoon." "You're leaving this afternoon? And you said you'd show me around North City." Jason's gaze was gentle, his smile full of warmth. "I've signed a deal with your company." "I'll be back." "Okay, next time, you owe me a tour." Isabel and Jason had grown up together. After Isabel moved to North City with her mother, Jason had gone abroad. It had been 6 years since they last saw each other. Not far away, Luke had just taken a seat at a nearby table. His eyes immediately locked onto the woman by the window. She was smiling, warm and soft, talking to the man across from her. Luke narrowed his eyes. His fingers tapped the tabletop in no particular rhythm. The woman sitting across from Luke followed his gaze and saw Isabel, chatting cheerfully with a young, handsome man. Latina glanced at Luke's darkening face and smiled to herself. She let out a feigned gasp and asked sweetly, "Luke, isn't that Isabel?" "Wow, Isabel's impressive. Even lunch is a business meeting, huh?" Luke clenched his jaw, his expression dark. "Latina, want to eat somewhere else?" Wasn't Isabel the one who always avoided socializing? The so-called perfect wife, working hard during the day, home at night, waiting like clockwork for him to come back? Or did she only entertain certain types of people? Latina pouted, looking aggrieved. "But Luke, I really wanted the cheesecake here." Luke pulled his gaze away, looked at the woman in front of him, showing reluctant innocence, and said softly, "All right, we'll eat here." If Isabel could eat here, why couldn't he? The whole meal, Isabel and Jason talked endlessly. She didn't even notice the cold, sharp gaze that had been fixed on her from across the room. Latina didn't seem to mind that Luke was staring at Isabel. She kept eating, calm and sweet as ever but inside. She was just waiting for the drama to unfold. Isabel and Jason stood up, ready to leave the restaurant. Just as she stepped away from the table, she spotted a familiar, cold face, those jet-black eyes like a frozen well, and the corner of his lips curved in a mockingly amused sneer. The woman across from Luke waved at her and called out sweetly, "Isabel!" Isabel frowned. The haze she'd shaken off earlier crept back in, wrapping around her chest. Jason asked, "Is that your friend?" Isabel gave him an awkward smile and led him over. "Jason, this is my husband Luke." Then she looked at Luke. "Luke, this is Jason, a friend from South City." She paused, then added, "He's also our company's project partner." She deliberately emphasized the professional tie. Jason hesitated for a second, but still extended his hand to the man who hadn't even stood up. "I've heard a lot about you, President Dawson. Nice to meet you, I'm Jason." No wonder he looked unfamiliar so. He was from the Smith family of South City. The name wasn't new. After all, it was Dawson of the North, Smith of the South, the two titans of business. Luke glanced up slightly, lips tugging into a faint, mocking smirk. He rose lazily and reached out. "Nice to meet you, Mr. Smith." Then he pulled back and turned to the woman across from him, his voice soft. "Latina, are you done eating?" Latina nodded sweetly, looking completely innocent. He walked over and took her hand, ready to leave without sparing Isabel a single glance. The woman being led away looked back with a sweet, harmless smile. "Isabel, Luke and I are heading out." But that smile, it reeked of victory. Jason frowned, a storm of emotions churning inside. "Isabel, he's really your husband?" Isabel forced a smile. "Jason, are you heading to your hotel or the airport? Want me to drive you?" She dodged the question, clearly shaken. Luke had done it right in front of Jason, not even giving her the dignity of basic respect. Jason looked at the familiar face in front of him, and his heart ached. He had spent a whole year gathering the courage to come to the city she lived in just to see if she was truly happy. She wasn't doing well. She used to be so proud, always had to win, walking around like she ruled the world. But now, he saw her compromise, bow her head, even humble herself before this man. Jason wanted to reach out, his hand curled into a fist, frozen in midair. He couldn't even pat her head like he used to. She was avoiding him on purpose, and how could he bear to stab at her heart deliberately? He hurt too. Jason clenched his teeth, exhaled quietly, then gave her a calm smile. "Isabel, walk me out. I'm heading back to the hotel." His hotel happened to be close to her office. In the car, Isabel was driving. Jason sat in the passenger seat. Questions filled his mind the whole ride, but they all boiled down to one. He turned slightly, lips curled faintly. "Isabel, do you really love Luke that much?" He was sure she did love Luke. If she didn't, if it was just a business arrangement, then she wouldn't have stayed silent when that woman stood next to Luke. And that woman. It was obvious she wasn't just anyone to him. If Isabel didn't love him, why would Luke be able to trample all over her dignity so openly? Isabel stared straight ahead. When they reached a red light, she stepped on the brake. A faint smile tugged at her lips. "Jason, I won't lie to you. I do love him. What you saw between you, it's real. I'm the one who loves more. Or maybe it was all just me." Jason looked down, avoiding the sorrow at the corner of her mouth. Isabel's lips used to only carry pride. His heart twisted sharply. He stayed silent the rest of the ride. Only when they pulled up in front of the hotel did he finally hide the heaviness in his heart, lifting a gentle smile. "Isabel, you promised to show me around next time." "Of course." Isabel deliberately made her voice sound casual. Jason nodded. Just as he got out, he still reached over and patted her head. "Take care of yourself." Isabel nodded. "Got it. Now go on." Jason got out and watched her car until it disappeared into the distance. Only then did his gaze turn cold. If Luke didn't know how to treasure her, then everything that should have been his this time, he was taking it all back.